Hey everyone, good Thursday. I'm Chief Meteorologist Luke Doris here in the First Warn 5 Weather Center. Time is 7:29 on Thursday. We're looking live over a cloudy Kansas City, catching a little break from what has been a rainy and stormy day. Had some high winds in there too. I'll show you some of those reports coming up. Those of you in Liberty and Farley, Farrell View, we had 60, 65 mile per hour wind gusts, had some trees knocked over, had some power outages. It's been kind of messy. It's just getting going. We are now in our stormy stretch, and over the next 72 hours, this has our attention. We want to let you know all the latest updates, all right? So there's been a lot going on. As of noon yesterday, we upgraded Friday and Saturday to our top alerts. Those are first warn weather days, all right? So those are the kind that they could be dangerous, they could be impactful. We are staffed up, all right? So there will be a meteorologist in this building through the entire weekend, all right? So at no point will there not be somebody on duty. We're taking this seriously. I'm going to be here all night Saturday. It's already planned. We've got Greg Bennett, we've got Warren Sears, we've got Melissa Meter, and we're just going to walk you through this whole thing. So this is never to cause alarm. We don't want you to be worried. We just want you to be prepared, and that's the whole point of this. So you know what's coming or what could come. You know, sometimes these things on paper look like they're just going to go bonkers, and then things happen and we catch a little bit of a break. But right now it has our attention. It's definitely a notable threat. I want you to know about that potential, that threat. Let's plan for the worst and hope for the best. Okay, so let me walk you through it. I'll go through this twice. I have my Facebook stream up. If you have any questions, just shoot them to me. I may not get to them until toward the end, but we'll go through questions. I'll try to answer some of them as we go. Let's start with Friday. All right, here's our risk for Friday. So today we had storms and even some severe warnings. We had some flash flood warnings in some spots if you're south of the metro. But tomorrow's severe risk is higher. So let me show that to you here. All right, here we go. Timing for tomorrow. We could have some storms around in the morning, and they may even be severe. We could have some severe warnings. But the peak threat for Friday is going to be 3 to 8 p.m., about a 5-hour window in the late afternoon and early evening. And you see the orange zone. That includes the northern part of Kansas City and points north up toward Maryville and St. Joe and Bethany. That's the highest chance for really tornadoes. Now, I don't use that word lightly. You know, whenever we talk about tornado, you say that word, and it just, you know, it can get people really anxious. But there is a tornado threat tomorrow, and you need to know it. And you need to be planning for if there is a warning that gets issued, where are you going to go, what are you going to do, how are you going to get the warnings, those kinds of things. I highly recommend the KCTV5 weather app. You'll get warnings right to you. You've got radar. You can track it. If you lose power, you can, you know, stay informed. If you lose power, you know, TV might go out. You've got your app, you're good. Okay, so that's Friday's severe risk. This is probably the highest severe risk of the event. Now, Saturday also, so this is a first warn weather day. That's our top alert, all right? Now, Saturday is also a top alert first warn weather day. We saw the potential for both Friday and Saturday to be significant severe threats, and we saw that yesterday. And then today, the National Weather Service did what we expected, and they upgraded the risk level. So a 3 out of 5, again, large hail. Whenever I say large hail, I'm talking golf balls or baseballs is possible with this. I mean, a tremendous amount of energy is going to be in the atmosphere. Winds 60 to 70 miles per hour. The tornado threat for Saturday is there. Yesterday, it didn't look like it'd be much. Today, it's there. It's not as high as Friday. It'd be isolated spin-ups if they could happen. Flooding, I think, is the biggest thing for Saturday. So this is 5 p.m. through the night. Saturday is late day, all right? And I really think the worst of it's going to be overnight while a lot of us are sleeping, and that's the big flood threat. Sunday, there's still a risk, but this one's more iffy. So it's a medium tier first warn. What this means is we'll probably have some morning storms around, and they could be on the strong side, talking hail and high winds in small pockets. If storms can reform, which is iffy, they may want to just scoot out of here, but if they can reform between 3 and 10, they could, again, produce some severe weather. So Sunday's not code red. Friday and Saturday were kind of code red. Here's the live Doppler. Again, this is 7:33 now. This is a loop over the past hour. So this clump that you see that's down over here by like Warsaw, places like that. Here, I'll zoom in on it. You guys are still getting some pretty good rain down here. Here's Sedalia. There's Clinton. And thunderstorms, you know, nothing severe there. This area down here, Kincaid, Mound City, flash flood warnings, that goes for another half hour. That's till 8 o'clock. We got up to 4 inches of rain in some of those spots. Got pounded by these strong storms. You can see this line. This whole line right here is what plowed through the southern part of the KCTV coverage area. So that's Garnett and Mound City, some of those spots. All right, so Kansas City, we're back into some spotty showers now, but we're watching this line coming out of Lawrence and Topeka. That will be here within the next hour or two and could be strong. Now we're in the zone. All right, stormy stretch has begun. Today we didn't see a tremendous amount of severe weather. I know you got high winds, but it wasn't related to thunderstorms. It was because there's a jet that's about a mile off the ground, and even just passing showers with the rain coming down allowed that jet, those high winds, to crash down to the surface, and we had a high wind warning from about 4 to 6. And if you got wind damage, if you're in Farley or Farrell View or Liberty, you saw trees go down, you got those high gusts, that's a little bit different mechanism than severe thunderstorm warnings. But now, from here out, the energy is in place. These storms, we'll have to watch them. Could have some warnings in here. The warnings for this evening and tonight, they would likely be hail and high winds, pocket change size hail, maybe 60 mile per hour winds. It's not really wound up with the atmosphere just yet. Let me see if I can show you, if I can find it quickly, some of the storm reports that we had from earlier today. Sorry, I'll hunt around for it for just a moment and see if we can find that. I'll highlight it, what we dealt with. All right, here we go. 24-hour storm reports. This is what we had from today. Notice all these up here. Liberty, here's Leavenworth over here, so that'd be Farrell View and Farley. All these little symbols that are trees down, that's from not severe thunderstorms, but they were severe level winds from that low-level jet that came crashing down. So kind of an oddball, don't see that very often kind of warning. A high wind warning doesn't happen all that often. Okay, so what happens next? Let's walk through it on our forecast radar. And can I do Friday again, please? Taylor, I see you, yes. I'm going to go back to the top at the end of this. I'll do this twice. So if you are just joining us and you missed what I was talking about previously, I'm going to circle right back to it, and I'll be answering questions. So shoot questions to me if you got them. All right, here we go. Through the rest of tonight, watch forecast track. This is that line that's coming in out of the west from Topeka and Lawrence, and thunderstorms. But we're going to be in and out of this through the night tonight. I'll take you to 3 o'clock, see how we catch a little break, and then they kind of come back. Yeah, we could have some low wind, severe storms in there. It's not out of the question while we're sleeping tonight. Here's your Friday morning. Scattered storms. Could be a couple strong ones in there, but then we go dry. Watch as we get into late morning and early afternoon. This is 2 o'clock. And this may not be good. You don't like sunshine on days where there's a really unstable atmosphere, because sunshine just makes it even more unstable. But I want you to know that tomorrow, Friday, although the severe potential is high, there is a chance 0 storms form. There's something on the atmosphere, it's called a cap. It's essentially a lid that prevents storms from forming. If that cap holds, no storms will go. It's a bust, all right? And it would be great news. I hope that happens. If that cap breaks, then watch out, all right? Storms tomorrow will have a very favorable environment to be very strong and be dangerous. That's what our computer forecasts are showing us. Watch as we scroll forward. This would be 5. These would be the ones we have to watch out for, okay? These are what we call supercell thunderstorms. And notice they're not widespread. We don't have a ton of them. Not everybody's going to get storms tomorrow afternoon. I don't want to paint the picture that it is a wall of everybody getting slammed. I think it's rather isolated. But where these go, they'll have all the energy to themselves. And whenever you see them by themselves like this, they don't split the energy. The updrafts and downdrafts of the storms don't get spread out and kind of mess with each other. So these storms can just go, go, go. And they rotate. And that's where our tornado threat would be. So let me highlight that for you here. I made this graphic earlier. Storms may not be widespread. This is 5 o'clock on Friday afternoon. But if they go, they would be dangerous. We would be tracking these. And there's a decent chance for a tornado watch for tomorrow. Don't be surprised if you see a tornado watch for Friday afternoon. That threat would end by about 8. By about 8 o'clock, atmosphere starts to stabilize, and we'd be winding down. Away from the storms tomorrow, even whenever it's nice and sunny outside. Tomorrow's going to be warm. It's going to be like, 70, 75? I think 75 is what I'm forecasting for tomorrow. 45 mile per hour wind gusts. It's going to be really windy. Again, even away from thunderstorms. And then we'll have the severe risk on top of it. Now let's go ahead into your Saturday. I want to highlight much of your Saturday is probably dry. I don't expect storms to start until late in the day. And this might even be a little early. I'm being kind of cautious here. 5 o'clock for the metro, an hour earlier, an hour or two later. If you're west, it's earlier. If you're east, it's a little bit later. Let me show you this. This is one of our weather models, our computer forecast, and it's actually a little fast with the storms. But look at Saturday morning. Yeah, maybe a shower or two, not a big deal. This is 2 o'clock. If I had plans on Saturday, I'd go for them if they were in the early part of the day, morning, early afternoon. By 5, here we go, that's 5 o'clock. could see some scattered storms. These have potential to be strong. There is the risk for hail and high winds, maybe a tornado threat in there too. Then we go into Saturday night, and this is what really stands out to me about Saturday night, is these repeated rounds of really heavy rain. The severe risk here would not be as high. Notice how all the storms are, this could be a wind threat, could be a hail threat, but the tornado threat would come down. But the main thing would be rain, and a lot of it. Watch as they come and go throughout the night, little break, then they come back, and then you little break, and they come back. This is what we call training thunderstorms. We don't know, and nobody can tell you where this will happen, but they set up like they're on a train track, all right? And the storms just, they go over the same spots. And if they do that, you stack up heavy rain for hours, and that's how you can get a really high amount of rain. That's how you can get a flood threat, and a notable flood threat. I think we'll have a flash flood watch for Saturday night if trends continue. Will it be to the southeast of the metro? Will it be over the metro? Will it slide away from our coverage area? We don't know. That's the kind of thing that you kind of almost have to wait and see where these storms want to form, because there's going to be a lot of interaction in the atmosphere from tomorrow's storms before we ever get to Saturday. But right now, it looks like it's in our coverage area, and it looks like it could be something notable. All right, so there's Sunday morning. By Sunday, this is noon, we could be done with it by here. This is why this one is iffy. Will we see an afternoon round reform? Don't know. If we did, it wouldn't carry the risk that Friday and Saturday storms would. Okay, here's the rain since midnight. We've had a lot of rain today, and especially if you're in Kansas City and south. All right, Ottawa, over an inch and a half. Garnett, inch and a half. Lacine, an inch. That's where we had some flash flood warnings down here by Mound City. A half inch at the airport. Lighter to the north. You didn't get nearly as much in Richmond and Chillicothe and Bethany, places like that. Now let me show you what happens as we look at the rain potential. This is through Saturday morning. All right, so this includes tonight's rain, tomorrow's rain, and into Friday night, Saturday morning. I think we catch a break starting about 8 o'clock on Friday night. Inch, give or take. Now, watch what happens Saturday night. My goodness, look at that. 2, 3, 4, 5 inches of rain possible, maybe a half a foot in some locations. This is one computer forecast. Not all of them are this alarming, all right? But I want to show you this, and I'll compare this. This is not a computer forecast. I'll go back to the other one in a moment. This is 2, 3, 4 with pockets of 5 inches. This is a human-created forecast from the National Weather Service. And it highlights, you know, if it's not 6, it's 5, you know, in some locations. I don't think everybody's going to see 6 inches or 5 inches of rain. I'm saying in some spots, if the storm's set up in these tracks, that's the possibility. Right now, it looks like the highest rain threat would be southeast of Kansas City. Kansas City could still see a lot. If you're northwest, it's probably less. Let's go back to this computer forecast. This is, you know, some of the latest data. Notice, you know, it might be a couple inches total between tonight and Sunday morning. We could manage that if that's what we get in the metro, but we don't know where that line's going to set up, and I just want you to know in your area it's possible. It's probably a better chance southeast of Kansas City. So that's the story with the rain. We have the first warn weather days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday is a first warn. That's mid-level impacts. You're going to see 90% rain chance on Saturday and think, oh, my day's shot. I showed you that earlier, that I think much of the day's dry. It's for late. It's for evening and overnight. And then next week, storms are out of here. We'll be so ready for that. By the time we get to Monday and Tuesday, there's a rain chance, but it's low, 20, 30% into Wednesday. And your high temperatures are going to be warmer in the mid-70s, the low 80s for the next week. Today was cool. Today was a chilly one, but we'll turn that around. Okay, so if you joined us halfway through, I'm going to go back up to the top. We'll go through all this again. I'm going to answer some Facebook questions here. Let's see what we have here. All right. St. Joe. St. Joe for what day? St. Joe's risk tomorrow is rather high for severe weather. The flood risk for St. Joe's not as high for Saturday night. So those are the two main things I'm watching. Okay, so let's see if we've got any other questions here I want to get through. KCK, stay safe. Yes, have a way to get warnings. Know what you're going to do if we have a tornado warning tomorrow. Where are you going to go? Can Wyandotte County have tornadoes? It's possible, yes. Not everybody's going to see tornadoes tomorrow. I don't know that we'll have any. I'm just saying that the possibility is there in our coverage area. So, you know, the odds of any one location being hit by a tornado, even on a day like tomorrow, are very low. But if you had a 10% chance that a boat that you were going to get on were to sink. Did we lose our stream? Hey, Gabe. Yes. Sorry if you can watch me, if you're still seeing me, everybody. I may have had a problem on Facebook. Hey, could you check this out? I may have lost my stream on Facebook. says this live video has ended. Sorry, everybody, if you're watching this. We're going to try to get this figured out. This needs to be on Facebook as well as YouTube. We're live streaming on television or our closed captioning, CTV. Would I do Friday again? Yes, I will. And let's see, what else do we have? Someone with anxiety, storm anxiety. We do not want you to be, I'm not trying to make you anxious. We're still good? Okay. All right, I'm going to refresh this. Maybe something just happened with my Facebook feed. Okay. Yeah, we're still good. We can see you on Facebook. Good. Which day will be the worst? Friday will be the worst for the severe threat. Saturday will be the worst for the flood threat. Still up, still hearing and seeing. Thank you, guys. Thank you for helping me out. Leavenworth for Saturday during the afternoon, 2 to 4 p.m. You're probably okay. 4 p.m. is getting close. We could start to see some storms there. Later, later in the afternoon. But 2 o'clock, I think you're still good. Chillicothe, yes. Severe risk tomorrow. Maybe not as high of a flood risk for Saturday. You have a risk for storms and heavy rain and severe weather, but I think the Saturday's about the flood threat primarily to me from what I'm seeing. Pleasant Hill, Saturday evening, yes, possible severe weather. Belton, Missouri tomorrow, severe weather threat. Hail, high winds, maybe tornadoes. Shawnee, Kansas, yes, Shawnee, Kansas, same thing. For Friday, severe risk. And Belton, we just got Belton. Baser tomorrow. Baser is actually a spot where our storm tracker is going to be going tomorrow. So we think Baser could be a location where we have to watch these storms coming in out of Kansas. Kind of that northwest side of the coverage area is a higher risk for severe weather tomorrow than necessarily southeast or south. So Baser, I want you aware tomorrow. Coffee County, Kansas, yes. We'll be watching storms move your way by tomorrow afternoon, most likely. And then Saturday, severe threat there. St. Joe, same story. I think we got St. Joe earlier. Okay. I think I got all the Facebook questions. Keep them coming, everybody. If you've got any, shoot them to me. 1 minute. Okay, I'm getting a lot about Belton. Platte City. Platte City, you guys actually had some really strong winds around there today. 65-mile-per-hour wind gusts in that area. My daughter is supposed to go on a field trip to the Kansas City Zoo tomorrow with her school. Would you advise against that? I would imagine they'll be leaving by, early afternoon. If they're leaving by 2 o'clock, they'll probably be okay. Anytime after 2, you're starting to get into the severe threat. So that's a personal decision, but the severe threat ramps up by about 3 o'clock tomorrow. Okay. Excelsior. Hi, Excelsior. And St. Joe. Yes, St. Joe. Same story. Severe risk tomorrow. Not as high of a flood threat for Saturday, but severe weather threat. Platte High School tomorrow after 3 p.m. No go. Track meet. Severe threat's rather high. And Blue Springs. Hey, you're over in kind of my neck of the woods. Blue Springs. Yes, tomorrow severe threat. Hail, high winds, tornadoes. Liberty is, what's this about Liberty? And then I'll come back to these guys. Tornado activity Friday in Chillicothe. What did I see about Liberty? Adrian. Wow, there's so many. I'm sorry, guys. I'm having a difficult time keeping up here. Okay, Saturday afternoon. Is it going to be a washout in Liberty? I'm going to stop with this one, then I'll answer more questions after this is all done so we can get back through this, and maybe this will answer some of your questions. Saturday afternoon will not be a washout in Liberty. I think much of Saturday will be dry across the area, relatively dry. Saturday's late day, okay? So I'm going to keep that as my marker for Facebook questions. Keep them coming, and I'll answer them at the end. All right, so let's go back through this together. Here's Friday. Okay, Friday's severe risk. I think we'll have storms around in the morning. But the risk isn't that high yet. It's the prime time for severe risk, and I think the highest risk for notable severe weather is Friday between 3 and 8. I'm talking about over the next several days. I'm talking specifically about large hail and damaging winds, golf balls, baseballs, 70-mile-per-hour winds, and there is a tornado threat for Friday. Where is that tornado threat highest? It's in this orange zone that we see from Kansas City north, okay? That's St. Joe, that's Cameron, that's Bethany, that's Atchison, that's Maryville. This is our top alert, our first warn weather day. This is not to make anybody anxious or cause alarmism or anything like that. We just want you to be prepared and know that tomorrow has a chance, not a guarantee. I'll explain that in a minute. Has a chance for storms to form. If they form, they could be dangerous tomorrow. Just know that, be planning for it, have a way to get warnings, and know where you'd go in case there's a tornado. Now let's get to Saturday. This one's late. Much of Saturday is going to be okay. Much of Saturday is going to be dry and probably sunshine and warm and not bad outside. But starting around 5 o'clock, the severe risk is back on the table. Again, we're in the orange zone. That's a level 3 out of 5 risk. The highest risk is, what you see, Kansas City, Cameron, around Richmond and points west. There's still a risk if you're east of there, so in the yellow zone. The hail and high wind threat still certainly on the table. The tornado threat not as high for Saturday, but it's also not zero. It'd be isolated. Friday's got a higher risk for tornadoes. First warn weather day, though, the flooding. Saturday night. So this is 5 p.m. through the night on Saturday. While we're sleeping, could see a tremendous amount of rain. I'll show you all that too. We're going to walk through it all. Here's Sunday. Sunday's lower, all right? There's a chance. It's iffy. Will we see storms form? I think we'll have some in the morning, and they could be, hail and high winds, not much of a tornado threat. The afternoon might be dry. These things may want to scoot out of here. But if they could reform from 3 to 10, there'd be a low severe risk, hail and high winds. So that's a first one. That's medium impacts. I'm not as worried about Sunday. I also want you to know that while I'm telling you all this, just know this is going to be a lot of work for us here in the First Warn 5 Weather Center. We will have a meteorologist in this building through the entire stretch of this severe event. And that means we're in here on our weekends. We're here overnight at 2 o'clock in the morning. Doesn't matter. Somebody's going to be here. I'm here all night Saturday night. I'll be here early tomorrow. I'll be here late tomorrow night. Warren's coming in on his day off, Warren Sears. We've got Melissa Meter in. We've got Greg Bennett. He's coming in on his days off. We don't care. We got you covered because this one has our attention, and it warrants that. We hope it doesn't. Sometimes on paper these things look like they're really going to go, and sometimes they don't. And we hope that happens. But we want you to be ready for it in case it does. All right, here's the Doppler. This is as of 7:50. We had this strong line of storms come through earlier today. A lot of those are down here by Warsaw, places like that. We're going to watch this next batch that went through Topeka. It's over Lawrence now. This is coming our way. It'll be here within, we'll say an hour in the metro. So Paola's in it now. Not severe, but we could have some pocket change size hail in here. Small hail's possible, 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts. A lot of lightning with those. You can see that there. So we're going to keep tabs on that. Also had these are red down here. These are flash flood warnings. This is where we had up to about 4 inches of rain south of Garnett, Mound City. There's Kincaid there. So already flooding in some locations. Here's forecast track. That's that line coming through at about 8. Now we're in and out of this through the rest of tonight. Anytime we could have a strong storm with a hail and high wind threat, but the threat's not high yet. All right, there's 3 o'clock in the morning. You might be sleeping. You catch some rumbles of thunder, maybe some strong storms overnight, but it's probably, low end severe threat. This is tomorrow morning, your Friday morning. Yeah, scattered storms. Could have some warnings tomorrow morning, but they look like they're rather scattered. Again, not a big severe threat yet. Here's much of the day dry. All right, there's late morning, early afternoon on your Friday. Sun's out. It's going to be windy. It's going to be warm. Might think this is pretty nice. And then I want you to know this too. I said this earlier, but there is a chance that we have no storms tomorrow afternoon. And what happens is there's something called a cap on the atmosphere, or it's kind of a lid that prevents storms from forming. If that cap holds, think of like you've got a cap on a soda bottle and you shake your soda bottle up, you shake it. If you leave a cap on, nothing happens. Same thing with storms. If you take that cap off, boom, it erupts. And it looks like they'll probably be able to go. All right, so this is what the computer forecasts are showing. This is by 5 o'clock. It's iffy if these go, but it's a high enough potential that if they go, these could be dangerous, okay? Storms may not even be widespread. I don't think they will be. I think they'll be rather isolated, but because they're isolated, because they're by themselves, then they will have the potential to be extra strong. They're not sharing energy with other storms around them. They would have all that energy to themselves. These are what we call supercell thunderstorms. They rotate. There's your tornado threat. That's why these have our attention. Supercells by nature are severe. They will produce hail and high winds. They're extra strong. They rotate. There's, again, your tornado threat. So that's why tomorrow from 3 to 8, we're going code red, all right? If these things get going, get ready. I wouldn't be surprised if we have a tornado watch tomorrow. So be thinking by 3, 4 o'clock, you might hear that alert and you will be ahead of the game. You'll know, hey, we knew that this might happen. And then have a way to get warnings too. KCTV5 weather app will send them right to you. It's totally free. It's got radar. If you lose power at your house, you can still track storms, still get the warnings. Before the storms ever come in and after they're gone, tomorrow's windy. regardless of what the storms do. 40, 45 mile per hour wind gusts without storms. It's warm tomorrow. It'll be in the mid 70s. Here's Saturday. Now we're jumping into Saturday. 4, 5, we might start to get storms going. It might even be later than that, maybe 7 to the east, but this is kind of early. Much of the day's dry is my point with this graphic, but late in the day and into Saturday night, here we go. So this is 1 o'clock in the afternoon. If you have plans anywhere in the area for Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, early afternoon, I think you're going to be just fine. We get into Saturday at 5, scattered storms are possible. These could be severe, hail and high winds, isolated tornadoes, not out of the question. But really, it's this. Watch what happens as we go ahead. This is, there you go, midnight. Wow, heavy rain. Not as high of a severe risk. We'd have, hail and high winds still possible. Tornado threat would go down because these are all kind of stretched out, right? They're not the storms that are by themselves. But that's a lot of rain. And where these heavy thunderstorms want to set up, watch them kind of come and go and come and go through the night and through Sunday morning. That would be a tremendous amount of rain. And there's our flood threat. All right, let's see if we can get this to... Oh, no, my computer froze up on me. Hold on, everybody. See if I can get this back. Sorry, one moment. Gonna see if I can get this to fire back up. There we got her. Okay, so they come and go, they come and go. This is through Sunday morning. Still around, and that's still heavy rain, and it's still a severe threat. And then they start to move out by Sunday, late morning, early afternoon. Will they reform again in the afternoon? They could. And if they did, they'd have a low and severe risk. But with all that rain, severe level storms, and then they just kind of keep coming and producing all that heavy rain. If they go over the same spots, it's what we call setting up on a train track, training thunderstorms. That's how you get, in some spots we could see a half a foot of rain between now and Sunday. I'll show you here in a second. Here's what we've had so far today. It's been heavy rain. We've had warnings. We've had flood warnings, flash flood warnings, about a half inch out at the airport. More south of I-70, less north of I-70. Some of us have gotten an inch. In the flood spots, we've had up to 4 inches. So this is the rain potential up through Saturday at 7 a.m. So between now and Saturday morning, another inch or 2, something like that. Watch what happens Saturday night. Look at that. 2, 3, 4, 5 inches of rain, not out of the question. Now, this all depends, again, on where the storms want to track. And if you're outside of the track of storms, you may not get that much. You could get a couple inches. You could deal with that. We don't know where this line is going to set up with all these training thunderstorms, but it looks to happen somewhere near us. And with that comes the potential for a very high rain and up to 6 inches. Not all the computer models are this wet. It may not be 6 inches. I'm saying that the potential is there for 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 inches of rain between now and Sunday. Here is a National Weather Service produced forecast just to highlight it's not just one crazy computer model that's throwing out some high number that I'm showing you to be, sensationalizing this. This is, taking the high end, the low end, kind of averaging it out. 2, 3, 4 with pockets of 5 inches is what is officially forecast from the National Weather Service. So it's a notable threat. Most of that would be Saturday night. I think that's it for the storm coverage. I'll show you the 7-day. I'll show you one more thing too. So this is also the flood risk for Saturday. So what this is kind of a pre-flash flood watch. This is a flash flood risk. This is issued by the National Weather Service, and it's got our area highlighted for obvious reason. I think that we'll probably have a flash flood watch for Saturday evening. And then one more thing for the severe risk. This is for Friday. And this may not mean a whole lot to you, but highlighting again where that orange zone was here, I'll show you. I'll compare these two. This is the general, what's your severe risk? All right, the orange, level 3 out of 5, Kansas City and north, level 2 out of 5 in the yellow. Okay, why is that? Because of this. Okay, the hail threat. See how that red under the right side panel, the hail, that's a hatched 30%. That means that you could have significant size hail within 25 miles of any point in that red zone. That means you could have golf balls or baseballs. Big hail is possible, especially in the red. Wind, it's there. 60 to 75 mile per hour winds, not out of the question. And then the tornado threat here, the yellow hatched area matches the orange area. That's our highest tornado threat. You see that, you say 10%, that doesn't sound that high. 10% chance for a tornado within 25 miles of you is rather significant. So that's why, 10% chance of a tornado is like 10% chance your boat could sink. Would you get in? I wouldn't. Not saying that's, again, not guaranteeing that there's going to be anything tomorrow. But the threat is there, and I want you to be ready for that. All right, here's your 7-day forecast, and then we'll get to some questions. Try to get to as many as I can. I see a lot. 7-day forecast. All right, next 2 days, rough weather. All right, not the entire time, but in and out. Friday afternoon, Saturday night. Sunday, potentially some scattered strong thunderstorms. 70s and 80s all weekend long. The cool weather's out of here. Next week, no severe storms. All right, looks quiet. Looks like some low rain chances. We can deal with that. We'll be ready for it. 70s and 80s. Okay, let's get to some questions here on Facebook. Friday and KCK. Yeah, Friday afternoon, be ready for severe weather. Could have some morning storms, but the afternoon from 3 to 8. Platte City tomorrow, same story. Platte City, you're up there in that orange zone. Your risk is rather high. Be ready. Let's see, Tonganoxie Split. Yeah, every place I've ever lived has had some folklore as to why they're protected from tornadoes. In St. Louis, it was because we have the river. Tornadoes don't go over rivers. But people don't remember that in the early 1900s, a tornado, F4, went across the Mississippi River and hit there was a casino boat, and it sunk it, and a whole bunch of people died, and then it hit East St. Louis on the Illinois side, and is one of the deadliest tornadoes in U.S. history. People don't remember that. And then in Norman, Oklahoma, I went to the University of Oklahoma to study meteorology. The thing was, Norman doesn't get hit. They always go to Moore. Moore's just to the south. Moore's famous for getting hit by multiple tornadoes. They've had F5s. It's been really, really bad. It's a spot that just seems to be stung all the time. While I was there studying meteorology, they were hit by an F3, an EF3 in Norman. It's like tornadoes don't care about little, topographical features. Tornadoes, they rotate and spin all the way up tens of thousands of feet into the air. They can cross rivers. They've gone up mountains. There have been tornadoes reported beyond, I think, 7,000 or 8,000 feet above sea level. So don't look into that stuff too much. Lenexa, same story for you guys. You've got a severe risk tomorrow afternoon and in the morning, but the big one's in the afternoon, and then flood threat and severe threat for Saturday. Okay, Warrensburg, mostly flood. Warrensburg, let's go back. I'll show you Warrensburg for this, just because this is the way it looks right now. Don't look at this too much, but you see Warrensburg? Southeast of the metro right now looks like it could be the bullseye zone for the heaviest rain. This is Saturday night, mainly Saturday night. You'll get thunderstorms and stuff before then, but for the flood threat, Warrensburg right now kind of stands out. Smithville, Missouri. Well, similar story there. Friday afternoon, severe threat. Flood threat for Saturday. Lee Summit, same story. Lewisburg, Kansas. Lewisburg, you might get them earlier tomorrow than those of us as you get over near the state line. And then Saturday, they may come a little bit earlier, but it's a similar threat. All right. Let's see. Ottawa. Your risk tomorrow is not as high in Ottawa. I think they're going to be mainly north of Ottawa. I can't guarantee that, but it does look to be a little bit high further north. And then Saturday, anybody, especially southeast of Kansas City. Let's see. Where did they find this doofus? Hey, Brian. Just trying to help, man. What about driving from Springfield, Missouri to Kansas City tomorrow evening? You could be running into rough weather. All right. Birthday party at Park, 1 p.m. Saturday. You're good to go. Party Blue Springs Saturday. That's the same question. Son is supposed to be driving a Raymore to South Dakota tomorrow. Bad idea. Depends on the time. Yes, it could be if it's late day. He'd be driving north, and north is going to have a lot of storms tomorrow too. Kansas City, Kansas, Friday, 5 to 8. You're in prime time severe threat mode. Saturday, Blue Springs, late day Saturday and into the night. Looks rough. Lenexa, Saturday between 4 and 8. That's a good question because that's about the time that they could start on Saturday. I think most of it on Saturday is actually going to be after sunset, but it could start earlier than that. Independence. Yes, Independence. Similar story for you. Severe threat tomorrow afternoon, 3 to 8. Then Saturday, 5 to overnight. Hail and high winds and maybe a tornado threat and flooding. Daughter is coming from Lawrence to Baser tomorrow. What time is it supposed to be worst? 3 to 8. Okay. Let's see here. Raytown. Yes, Raytown. Tomorrow, your risk for tornadoes and high-end severe weather in Raytown is there for tomorrow. It's higher to your north. Take that, for what it's worth. I'd still have a way. Just bought a weather radio. Good job. Good job. Those things never fail. Warrensburg. Yes, we talked about your flood threat. Hey, somebody from the solar eclipse, EJ. I went to Cape Girardeau, Missouri to cover the total solar eclipse. How are you looking in Raymore? Yeah, Raymore, we just talked about that. Friday afternoon, severe threat, 3 to 8, probably higher a little bit to your north. Saturday, anytime after 5 and through the night, you're in it. Severe threat and hail, high winds, maybe a tornado and flood threat. Okay. Anything else? Anything else? Sorry, guys, there's a lot in here. I'm trying to get to everybody. Okay, I think I've got everybody. There's 3 new comments, and then we'll wrap this up. Driving to the airport 4 to 5 a.m. Friday. What should I expect? I think Friday morning, tomorrow morning, we'll have some scattered showers around, maybe some thunderstorms. You could hit a severe thunderstorm warning, but you're not in the really dangerous stuff yet. So I think you'll probably have some rain, maybe some thunderstorms. Give yourself a little extra time, but not anything crazy for an early drive to the airport tomorrow. 5 to 8 p.m. around Zona Rosa. What should you expect? I would expect it doesn't say what day. This is for Gabriel. It doesn't say what day. If it's Friday, severe thunderstorms are possible. Again, I think Friday's isolated. They may not be over your area. It's not widespread. Saturday night's going to be widespread. Tonight or tomorrow. Tonight we're in and out of showers and thunderstorms. A couple of them could be strong. Tomorrow is going to be morning scattered showers and thunderstorms. Then we're going to catch a break by mid-morning, and then it recharges for a maybe afternoon. And if the afternoon goes, it could really go tomorrow. So there's that cap I mentioned on the storms for tomorrow afternoon. If that cap holds, we may not have anything tomorrow afternoon. If it does not hold, storms will have a lot of energy to work with, and tomorrow afternoon could be dangerous if storms can fire. Okay, last one. Sunday night, Kansas City, Missouri. We're probably okay. Sunday night, I think we'll be okay. We could still have some stragglers, but the severe threat really coming down by late day Sunday. Okay, everybody, we're going to have more information. I'm going to go back and look at the latest weather charts and update the forecast as we go to 10. We get this stuff updates hourly, and we just want to bring you the latest as it comes our way, see what changes, keep you ahead of all of this. This is a fluid situation. These severe events always are, so be checking back in. We're going to have you covered right here from the First Warn 5 Weather Center, KCTV, on air, online. If you like watching online, we're going to do these multiple times a day, every day through the event, and just keep you ahead of this. So, again, not trying to alarm anybody. We just want you to be ready for it in case this goes down the way it looks right now. All right, thank you for watching. Have a good night.